I know, I'm late to the party on this, but I wanted to give my thoughts on the upcoming 4.1.8 patch before it gets released because, well, I feel like quite a bit is riding on this one. I usually try to keep things positive, but this time is a little bit hard to do, so disclaimer ahead on that. So yeah, for what it's worth, here's my take on what's been released so far. The new Endless Bridge mode seems fun, though I don't think it's too novel. It just seems like a rehash of the Halloween event from what I can tell. I'm sure there will come to a point every 2 weeks like it did in the Halloween event where you'll hit a cap that makes it impossible to progress further. Still, more gameplay modes are fun and I look forward to the rewards. I wish they would run it differently from Metro though. Top 100, or in this case 200, is great, but it really makes it hard for players who are not top tier to get the rewards. It'd be nicer if it worked like Skirmish does, where you get sorted into leagues, making it possible for progressing players to work their way to the top league and get those same rewards. I don't mind Metro being an endgame mode that rewards top tier players, but more than one just isn't good in my opinion, and we already have two, both in the form of Metro and the weekly events. It'd also be nice if you could unlock additional skins through this mode or make them available for purchase rather than just having the skins be there available for purchase with coins or money. Just my 2 cents on that, but we'll have to wait and see how it unfolds. They released 2 new skins with a third kept in secrecy, Medic for Scientists and Lionheart for Patriots. I'll be honest, I think both of these are terrible. Don't get me wrong, they look nice, especially the Medic, but neither are game changers and really both are bottom tier units that will not change the dynamic of their respective teams by any measure at all. Medic is a horrible unit and her range will put her right in the vicinity of many drone explosions from the Scientist's 3-man bonus. With her low health pool and high courage cost, she's not going to do anything for them. What Scientists need is a cheap melee unit given how they only have 2 melee units available, unless you count Willy as one. Or maybe half. Lionheart for Patriots might make a little more sense on paper, a fire guy on a team built around fire damage, but it doesn't solve his inherent problem of lighting his own teammates on fire, this time with more damage ticking. Given how no member on that team is fireproof, that poses a bit of a problem. Also, the fact that Lionheart is a pretty poor performing unit just means he's likely not going to be used over someone similar like Juggernaut. Both Lionheart and Medic need a rework, not a new skin. So that leaves us with the mysterious third unit that they hinted would be hot. So you can either go literal or figurative with that. Literal would be someone who uses fire damage to some degree like Flamethrower, SWAT, Carlos, or well, Lionheart again. Figurative would likely be any of the female units. Your guess is as good as mine, but if I were to wager, I'd say Queen is the mystery unit who will get her first new skin. Or so I hope. I reckon she'll either go to Patriots or Prisoners. Patriots will play into her grenade's napalm damage, and Prisoner's aesthetic plays into her rebel nature as a psycho. She's the only unit that fits the description in both a literal and figurative sense of the word, but I guess we'll have to wait and see on that. New supply runs for Location 9 with 2 new sets, Gear Train and Pincushion, with Pincushion easily being the better of the two. Gear Train to me seems very lackluster, as ramping damage is not something that works unless its increments are uncapped, significant, and easy to achieve. Of those, only one applies to Gear Train. The Patriot set has already proven how little impact ramp damage has, and if you do the math on this, Gear Train will generally lag behind something like Swiss Made in most circumstances, and definitely lags behind better existing sets like Gentleman and Military. The only unit I could see this being viable for is Gunslinger with the Police Faction's 2-man bonus. Even then, the moment he reloads because there are no enemies in sight is going to suck. Pincushion on the other hand will see a lot of use, especially on missions like the Corn Farm event where you're going to have some beastly hard hitting units. It'll be a viable alternative for heavyweights, rogue, and some damagers, and I'm looking forward to using it. I am not looking forward to gambling whether the rarity will be epic or legendary though. It's already annoying to roll on that with carbon and piercing sets in their respective shops. Nobody wants to do a supply run only to have epic quality drops instead of legendary, so I hope they don't go that way with the drops as it will waste keys. Lastly, and most importantly, comes the balance changes to the game. I think the vast majority of us are hoping to see either a reversion of the watch nerf or some kind of fix that will have a similar effect. Simply put, the game's not fun when you're sitting there waiting for your units to come off cooldown while your bus is getting beat on in the first 10 to 15 seconds of gameplay. I think Moby Rate made a huge mistake in this nerf. Purposely hindering progress for no given reason is not fun. Agility in most cases does not compare to prep time at all. The fix for this is not to nerf prep time, but instead buff agility. I'd say they can start by rolling agility and aggression into one, and maybe add crit modifiers to agility as well to make it more appealing. Either way, I think if prep time doesn't get fixed, then the game is going to start circling the drain hard. A game, in my opinion, should be balanced around the average progressing player, not the top end of endgame progression. I say this having done Location 9 with 3 stars, no buffs, and a variety of team compositions. It's not a flex, just that my position comes from one that's not born from frustration from not being able to complete the location. Even with all that, I find myself avoiding Location 9 because of its propensity to pigeonhole you into using 1 or 2 compositions based on short prep time and sturdiness, which is a hard combo to come up with and not every team has access to. In short, what I'm really trying to say here is that if they don't revert prep time to watches or do something similar, then that's going to be the death knell of the game. So in a way, this patch is going to be pretty significant for the game's future. There's also the issues of whether or not certain zombies, notably the escapee, is going to get a nerf or not. I think I'm a little more on the fence with this one. I think she's fine as she is, but maybe roll back how soon she emerges on Location 9 missions by a few seconds or more. I do like the challenge she poses, and there are ways to bring her down quick, such as timing a mechanic to sledgehammer her second phase as soon as it comes out. But yeah, I understand players' frustration with her since she counters teams like the mechanics better than most other zombies. The thing about Location 9 is that some levels were designed to be done with different teams easier than others. The game would be a snooze if everything could be done with just one faction without ever having to switch to something else. So in that regard, I agree that some levels should have zombies that hard counter certain team compositions like the mechanics or the police. It incentivizes players to get creative and think of different ways to beat levels rather than lament that the location is impossible because they can't steamroll through it with turret drops. It's a hot take, I know, but I'd rather the game be made exciting like that, and well, by the time a player gets to Location 9, they should have a few options under their belt that they can switch to. Last thing is the new Blubber Zombie, who looks pretty fun. I look forward to seeing how that goes. No complaints there from me. That's about all I got for this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you again in the next one.